Hello, I'm Curtis. I'm Curtis.
All right, now we're going. Here we
I'm
go.
Curtis.
And I'm Dakota.
And this is Reader Side Quest.
RSQ.
We just finished. We're flying through these books. We're reading these at like a book every 2 days now.
Yeah.
And we just finished 5028, Sonata of Fate by Garrett Melick. This
And we're here to tell you what we think.
Yeah, that's our job for you. Our destiny.
Our people.
Our people. This will be the first book that we do a cover art review for as well. The new thing that we're going to be doing for our reviews. This doesn't get a point or anything like that. This will be just something fun to discuss because it's fun to discuss.
Because we decided that we all judge books by their covers, so we should talk about it because it's fun.
I like being judgmental in the right circumstances. I like the cover art.
I do too. It's unique.
I mean, you got 4 of the main cast up there with, I don't know what that control room is, to be honest. You got the sword.
It's the control room in the ruins, I believe.
Oh, yep. Anyway, I think it's cool.
There's a really cool art page on this too. Really enjoy. He has art for all the characters in here, which is really awesome.
Sorry that we have to show you this on our phones, but it is what it is. Wow, you can't see any of those, Dakota. Those are all just whited out.
Maybe you'll be able to see it when I fix it in post.
Chad, are we cooked?
I think we're cooked.
Yeah. Anyway, I like the cover art. I don't know if I have too much to say about this one. It looks like a YA sci-fi cover art. I think it fits the bill.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Agree. Nothing special. I feel like if there was worse or if it was amazing or if it was bad, I would have something to say. But it was good. The cover was good.
Let's get to.
Yeah, let's get into it. Our first favorite category in which all other things flow and we whine about all other things if this category fails.
Well-developed characters. How did we feel about these characters, Dakota? How did you feel?
I gave it a half point. We had a decent cast of characters. Now that I think about it, I think it might have borderlined on being too many characters for the amount of time that he had in the book. But I don't think that was my primary complaint. I think my primary complaint was that we had a lot of characters, but that we didn't experience growth of these characters, and that when these characters made like life-altering decisions, they happened in the span of like 2 sentences, which didn't help it feel like real.
I felt like a lot of the character development happened because of convenience, not because of anything that actually happened in the book. Like, I think, and we'll talk about this later, one of the big things was the main characters very against, like, he's on the outskirts. He doesn't want anything to do with the war, blah, blah, blah. And then a sword chooses him and someone's like, hey, what if you went to war and were like the leader of it? And he goes, you got me. And then he goes to war. It's like, yeah, what?
Yeah, that was hard. It was like literally 3 sentences. That was
no internal dialogue. It was just like, all right, I'll do it.
Yeah, internal dialogue would have been big. And then I think that was like kind of the pace for all of our character development for the book. Like other characters, whenever they made decisions, come on the ship and join my crew. Okay.
Yeah. So likable characters, yes.
Yeah, they were good
characters.
Yeah, I give it half point because likable characters, and we got a good cast. So half point.
I think we both agreed on our originality and creativity. This world felt original.
Yeah.
All the cast had unique features to them. The magic system felt unique enough, had their own spin on some things. And the worlds all felt cool too. So
easy point there.
Nice job.
Good job.
Story end and wrap up. I felt like the story ended well.
I did too.
I think there's a second book, right?
Yeah. I think the second book follows the... I actually have no idea. I don't know why I was about to make a baseless assumption. There's a second book. It is also out on Kindle Unlimited. It's called Soulless.
Yes. Actually, I'm lying. I don't actually know for certain either.
No, it is called Soulless. I don't know what it's about.
Anyway, in case you're wondering, Soulless is the big bads of the solar system. They're called Soulless because they give up their soul. Unless you're the big main baddie.
Interesting. It's actually called Nocturne of Souls. I don't know why I thought it was called Soulless.
So you're super wrong. You're making us look like fools.
Okay. It's because it's from the viewpoint of a soulless commander. So it looks like it's a different character.
I kind of like that actually.
Yeah. Nifty.
All right. Anyway, story end up wrap up. I give it a 1.
I give it a 1 too.
Things were nicely wrapped up with the bow.
Yeah, it was good. The main plot points are wrapped up nicely.
Mm-hmm.
And then
world building and setting. He gave us a half a point. I felt like we got just enough for what we needed for the story, which seems like you should get a whole point for it, but there was nothing like outside. Like I felt like almost like where my vision was, everything was rendered, which is cool. Except outside my vision, everything was walled off.
Yeah,
Which is okay, but I wanted more out of where we were at. I just felt like I didn't get enough in that respect.
Yeah, in my new endeavor to split world building and setting into two parts of 1 point, I'm giving it a half point as well. Because I feel like the settings were good. It was cool having all the different planets that we went to. But like you said, like the broader sense of building the world felt like it was lacking a little bit. Magic system could have been more fleshed out. The parts of the planets outside of the main character's like little view could have been more fleshed out. It would have been nice to understand the universe a bit more.
We're a little too close to the belt. And I think you can kind of get away with that in a genre like this, like a YA
Yeah.
like fantasy, but I just felt like even still, for what it was, we could have gotten a little bit.
I agree.
In hindsight,
Hindsight.
pacing and structure, what'd you get it?
I gave it a half point here.
Can you tell me why?
No, you're just gonna have to guess. Come
Okay.
up with reasons why you think. Yeah, so similar to what I said about the character development being too quick, a lot of the things in this book happened really fast. And that made the pacing feel a little jarring. It was jumping from thing to thing to thing to thing really quickly. And it was like, he's captured, now he's free, now he's taking them down. And all that happened so fast that it was like, it didn't feel like, felt like it slightly detracted from the overall meaning of big events because they were happening so quickly.
And I think it's one of those things too. I gave it a half a point as well, where the reason it felt quick was because the book moved along because of convenience. Anytime there was a struggle, some like magical way out appeared like immediately, or like, oh, we have to call this big war conference. I know somebody that can get us in, who can talk to the captain and get us in like literally 2.5 minutes. That I haven't talked to in months because I've been
a galaxy-wide war conference that is called in the span of like 3 sentences.
Yeah, I remember that happening, and I was like, "This is." I mean, it was kind of on par for the book. I mean,
yeah,
it felt too convenient for me.
Yeah, and again, not trying to get lost in the sauce. I do respect that he's an indie author and published it, and I do like his idea and like what he was doing.
And the structure was really good.
Yeah, it was structured well. It was just a simple book. So a lot of our complaints that it was all really surface level, but maybe this will be someone else's cup of tea. But
yeah, because surface level isn't bad. It's just I feel like when you have the convenience for your main character be so heavy that's why it's simple is what bugs me. Because the simple books are good. I like reading simple books here and there, but I just felt like this was too convenient, and that was my gripe. I wasn't meaning to be mean to Garrett. On that note, emotional impact. I'm gonna be mean again. I'm sorry. I gave this one a 0. I felt like just because we didn't have very well developed characters, in my opinion, that it was hard to feel like attached to anything that they did, because anytime something was about to happen and they got out of it real quick, like it kind of zapped the emotion from that like build up, like, oh, we have this big confrontation we have to have, and zap, it's gone. I would say the only time I maybe like felt a little bit of something maybe is when he let Karanith, I can't remember her name, something with the K.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce her name.
Let properly. Her like kind of go at the end. I was like, I appreciate that decision, but I just felt like because how many times she could have killed him. It's like,
Karatha.
I'm just gonna let you go and let it happen this time. And then she's about to kill him. She goes, next time. And then he let her live. And I'm like, well, this happened like 6 times.
He pulled Nina reverse, and she said next time, and he said no, you.
What? So
yeah, I gave it a half a point here. I agree with all the things you said, but I did recognize that there were attempts to have emotional meaning in moments, like when the captain died, and like in his battles, like defending people and how it was like hurting his body. Like I recognize that there were moments that were meant to be heartfelt, even if they could have had a stronger pull. So I gave it a half point.
That is a good point. I feel like I rate harsher than you. Am I the bad guy on our channel?
Yeah, we're good cop, bad cop.
Damn, I'm gonna start being meaner.
I should probably be. I think I'm more. What's the word I'm looking for?
I think we're refining our reviewing skills as we blossom into more developed readers.
Yeah, as we read more books and rate more books and rip them apart, I think we're getting better.
I'm gonna start ripping books on
our first reviews are way too high. The first books that we reviewed that we didn't like, we reviewed them way too high.
We need to re-review For the Wolf thing.
We need to go back through it and be like, this is actually like a 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
This is not a 6 or 7 out of 10. This is a 4.
Oops. Well, we're learning, and that's the fun of this. We're doing this for fun. We're not professionals. If you don't agree with our opinion, I mean, yell at us, message us directly, and tell us how stupid we are. I'm a big fan of that.
We like
because
engagement.
I will think about that message for a while, and probably it will bring me down a little bit. So if that's what you want to do,
I support this. I'll lift Curtis back up.
you raise me up. All right, writing style and prose.
This is another area we disagreed on.
I felt that I actually don't. I'm like looking back, and I gave this initially a half a point, but I feel like I gave it a half a point because the prose was good. I enjoyed the prose. I felt like it felt good for the genre.
Yeah.
It felt appropriate for the world they were in. Like it all made sense. I think the writing style I didn't enjoy in terms of like I knew what you were trying to say, so I guess it comes across like positively, but again with the convenience, it felt like you didn't know what to put and how to get the character from A to B. You had the points there solid, but like the way to connect them, I felt like it wasn't there enough. So that's where the convenience came in. You're like, well, I don't know how to get the character to go to war, so I'm just gonna have him.
And fair enough. I feel like I docked points in other categories for those complaints, and that they don't. I'm not docking it in the prose because I mean, it felt like it was appropriate for the genre and for the level that it was at. So I gave it a full point here because it was a simple book and the prose was simple, and it didn't. Nothing about the prose made me think I can't read this, or this is hard to read, or this is clunky.
But what about the writing style? Because that's prose, but prose is a half point. Writing style.
That's true. So were my problems with how fast decisions were made, is that writing style or is that structure or pacing? I mean, where does that really fall? Where does my complaint go?
I feel like they're all very separate. I don't know. Personally, I guess, like I said, I'm a bad cop. I guess we can do this way. You're happy with your point. Keep the point. I'm not trying to detract you from that. I was just asking.
I'm happy with my point. I'm happy with where my score ended up.
But I will say, for the gripe I have given it for those convenient points and stuff, I gave it a full point for engaging storytelling. I enjoyed the story. I didn't have any problem with the story itself. Like we said, it was unique. It was fun. Yeah. I mean, who doesn't love a good sci-fi reluctant hero story?
I agree. I mean, the concept was nifty. The premise was unique. The storyline was engaging. It kept me reading, kept me going. 1 point.
1 point is all it takes.
And then I think we agreed on the next category in an unfortunate way. Meaningful themes in depth.
I felt like, do you want to go?
No, go ahead.
The depth wasn't there, and that's fine. I don't think it was meant to have depth, but that was just something that I was hoping to like drag it out a little bit. And I think this is one of those where you can kind of add like I initially gave it a 0, but I'm going to give it a half point because even though it was a simple book, we did have very simple themes that you could drag out, like found family. I thought was in there, finding the crew for their ship along the way, and the I guess mentorship that he had with his captain and stuff, and having like he didn't have any like parental figures, and like having someone fill that sensei role that normally wouldn't type thing. I felt like kind of fit that a little bit. So I thought it was weakly there, but I thought it was there, and I thought that was enough for me to give the half point for the
because now we're switching. Now you're good cop and I'm bad cop. I didn't give any points for themes.
I didn't initially, but the more I was thinking about it, I'm like, they were there. They were like easier themes, but they were subtle. But they were there. But for me,
I think from my perspective, they were not intentionally subtle. I think they were not like developed enough themes. Like I could see like they didn't bubble enough to the surface for me. I could see them like I could see what he wanted them to be, but I didn't feel like they were developed well enough.
All right.
But so good cop, bad cop continues. Half point, no point.
Rereadability and lasting impact. I agree. And it's a 0 for me. I wouldn't reread it, and it was a fun, simple story, but no lasting impact or anything on that for me. It was
and I think that one of the ways to change something like this is by further exploring the magic system. Like this is a unique premise and a unique world, but we didn't get enough of it. We didn't get enough exploration of it, enough in-depth understanding of it for it to be unique. So this probably could have been a half point if he really dialed in on like, here's how my magic system works, or here's like the full size of my galaxy.
My soul has a sword because someone died and put their soul in it, but very, very like it just said that they promised and then happened. I was like, that's not enough for me personally.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
again, I think it was a simple book and it was meant to be simple, and I think that's fine. And that's just not something we were looking for or expecting out of this book. So that could be on us.
But there we go. So we gave it an RSQ average of 5.75.
Yeah. So 2.5 stars on Goodreads. Well, you can't even do half stars. So I think we gave it a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, we absolutely
Technically
gave it
round
a
up to
3.
a 3.
Which
I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I'm happy with that score. I feel like that was fair. Yeah, so and then RSQ recommended. I personally would say no. Just because I feel like it was a little bit too simple in terms of the genre that it was. And that's just my opinion.
Same. Yeah, it's tough because I feel like I could be close to. There's a world where I'm persuaded to give it a conditional recommendation for like simple sci-fi, like YA sci-fi. But I think that I don't know. I think that there's other options for like a
I just
really
feel like it
surface
wasn't
level
fleshed
sci-fi.
out enough.
Yeah, we need to see more of the world explored. We need to. It's a unique premise, but we need the premise to be
And
fleshed out a
more
little
in
more.
book 1, not just, oh, there's another book and you'll get more in book 2. There needed to be more in book 1 to get me into book 2, I think.
Agreed.
So anyway, average score 5.75. Unfortunately, not RSQ recommended, but it was an enjoyable read while we were in it at the time. Quick read. I'm happy to have read that. Thank you, Garrett, for that.
Yep, thanks, Garrett.
And so now our next book we have spun, and we are going to read Vile by Carlos Gerardo. And that's that.
That's that.
I don't know if I have any other words,
Nope.
comments,
Anything
questions,
else
queries.
we could plug is stuff we've already plugged. We got content. Check out our content.
We do got content. Check out our interview, our very first interview with any author, but an indie author for Engineers Mechanic, LK Winter.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun. Check it out. Check out our
Other than that-
TikTok and Instagram. I was going to find something else stupid to plug. Anyway, thanks for being here. I'm Curtis.
I'm Dakota.
We're RSQ, and we out.